So I can make you as much money as possible.
How do you feel about going to Q&A? I really want to go to Q&A.
Let's do it.
All right. Who's got some questions?
Cue us. Marlo, stand up.
Running?
So this
Perhaps?
lovely lady here is actually responsible for the suit I'm wearing tonight as well. Isn't she amazing?
Wow.
Yeah. Sewed it with her own 2 hands. Did you?
Straight to my question. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Cheers. Thanks for pointing that out. These pants are by me, and I've got ramen on them. Okay. So 2 questions. Sorry. In regards to the lead gen stuff,
Yes.
do you think that if you offer a product like clothing, that if you did a call to action post, you know, if you're interested in getting 10% off entire store wide in the next 24 hours, comment below this emoji and I will personally DM you the discount code type thing?
That's making my soul excited. Yes.
Not that's not too like clickbaity.
No, because they're getting something for free.
Okay.
They're getting the discount code. That's the value. Free is a value. Free is what people want. If you were just saying, oh, I've got these pants on sale for this long, DM me, that's where it gets salesy. But you're saying, hey, I'm giving you something, and putting that time limit on it as well is going to ensure that they're going to take action straight away, which is what we want.
Yeah.
Very clever. Well done.
Thanks.
I appreciate
I've got
that.
one more question, sorry. And it's
Whoa, say so far. So
it's
far.
actually about LinkedIn.
No.
Sorry. Just in regards to when you send connections to people, I get connections from people that I've never clapped eyes on before. We have no one in common. They're on the other side of the world. There's no note attached to their connection. I just hit ignore. Is that wise?
Yep.
Okay, because I just thought, because half of me is thinking, well, maybe if I accept it, then they'll send me a message and maybe they've got something really great to share. Maybe I'm missing out on an opportunity. But I suppose my second question is, I'm assuming you don't send any connections without a valuable message attached to it.
No, not unless like I've got a load of mutual connections that I'm super confident they'll accept anyway. No, I always put a customized connection request.
And how do you go about shaping that so then it doesn't look like an essay and it's not also a, hey, I see that we've got similar connections, let's connect.
That's not a bad message.
Well, I've got messages like that before and I'm like, next.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things there. Like when you're receiving connection requests, I always ask myself, is this person likely to be connected to anyone in my target audience? Because if there are, there's benefit in doing that. And then when you're writing a message or a connection request, the key to it is you don't write anything about yourself. I can guarantee that the person, no matter who the person is you're sending the message to, they'll be interested in this themselves. So if you show interest in them and you don't write anything about yourself, you probably will have a good outcome. Mutual connections is cool, but what's even better than that is I'm interested in finding out more about this part of your profile or this part of your business. I'd like to find out more about that. Let's connect. And it's a bit weird doing it because you think, well, yeah, but he's going to wonder why, who I am. And you're right. And we want to create intrigue. We want people to wonder who you are. Because what they'll do is they'll click on your name and read your profile, which should look outstanding. Like your profile should be set up, correctly to start with. And it seems like a subtle difference, but the fact that they've clicked means they've asked for the information, therefore they're actually going to consume it, rather than if you push it onto them when they haven't asked for it, they're not going to be receptive to it.
All right, next question. On the other side of the room, sorry.
I have 2 questions about LinkedIn. The first one should be easy. So I've noticed recently
Am I winning?
on the LinkedIn Pages feature, they've added something similar to Facebook where you can invite your connections to follow the page. Now, I've been on LinkedIn for a number of years, and that really rubbed me the wrong way when I saw it.
They've removed it already, yeah.
Is it gone already?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I thought I saw it today.
Okay.
Yeah, and I even got one in it comes up in your connection requests when someone's...
Okay, cool. Yep,
Send that
continue.
to-
Okay,
But no, you don't like that? We're on the same page there?
Oh, well, I've heard that it's been removed, but I know that everyone's LinkedIn's not always updated the same, so
Okay.
I could be wrong. Yep.
Okay, no, that's fine. Second question, which is the harder one. So I've spent a lot of time on my LinkedIn. We get a lot of engagement, but I feel like we could, for the amount of engagement that we get on the free content that we put out, we could do a better job of converting that then into actual sales. What
Yep.
are some of your hot tips there?
So first of all, the people that are engaging on the content, are they the right people? Are they in your target audience? Okay, so literally just private messaging them and pulling the conversation offline. Yep. Yep. And so what's your conversion rate like? Yeah, I guess it's really difficult for me to answer without more detail, because it's probably to do with the way that you're asking for that stuff and whether or not, you are pulling the information into like a email sequence. There's so much that goes into it that I can't really answer that question without more information. So maybe we'll have a discussion about that offline after the event, if that's okay. Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, sorry. No, because I know everything about Instagram because of you. So obviously, there you go. So LinkedIn, 2 things.
Yes.
Seems to be the trend, 2 things, sorry. Hashtags on LinkedIn. Now, I've read a whole heap of things about hashtags on LinkedIn, and my problem is I see someone talking about it and I'll read it and then I'll read somebody else's and stuff like that. Thoughts on that? And is there kind of like a max number? Because I know that Facebook doesn't love as many hashtags as obviously Instagram does. Second thing, best time of day to post on LinkedIn. Again, another question that I do a lot of research on, because I manage a few accounts and there's some that perform really well at night, some that perform really well during the day. And I know that, again, it's going to be based on audience and content and all that type of stuff. But is there kind of like a key rule? Because I've found when I've done a bit of research, everyone's saying morning is better for LinkedIn, even regardless of the industry, which I just think is a really broad kind of blanket statement.
Yep. Okay. So maybe I'll hit that question first, and then we'll go back to hashtags. So yeah, if your audience is local, morning will make more sense, and the only reason for that is because you want to get engagement quick, right? And so if you're going to bed, most people are going to bed as well if it's local, so therefore they're not going to engage with it till the morning. I put my best content on Monday morning, because it's got the whole week to get engagement, and then Saturday and Sunday it kind of dies off. They say that the best time to post on LinkedIn is Wednesday, but my view on that is if they're telling everyone that the best time of day, the best day of the week to post is Wednesday, that everyone's going to start posting on Wednesday, and it will soon become the worst day of the week to post. So it does depend on your audience. I wish there was an easier answer, but it does depend on the audience. It really does. And the hashtags thing, like I haven't had a lot of success with getting extra eyeballs on content through hashtags. What I love about hashtags on LinkedIn is it's the only way you can hit a library of content. So if you create your own hashtag, like I have 2 that I use, which is hashtag Ask Nat. Actually, in fact, a lot of these Q&As will be split up into Ask Nat, where it's basically just a question, delivering the answer on the video. Hashtag Ask Nat. So if you click on that hashtag, you can find a whole library of questions and answers that I've answered in the past. Now, on Instagram, you just go to someone's profile and you got the library of content, right? Whereas on LinkedIn, you go to someone's profile, you get their CV or whatever it is. So that's the only way you can access a library of content, which is really valuable.
We had a question over here.
What on LinkedIn? It's a LinkedIn question.
I'm winning. I'm winning for sure.
Sorry, Brooke. What about if you're commenting someone for a job opportunity?
Yep.
Like then you're not necessarily going to be them because it's something you want that they can offer. How do you approach not sliding in to the DMs on LinkedIn? They're saying, like, for example, I'm going to comment a producer because I want to work on their show.
Yeah, I still think that it is about them. When you're approaching them, it's like, what is it about what they're doing that inspires you?
Or what they can do for you? Do you alert that to them? Not at all.
What you can do for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
What show do you want to be on?
Getaway? No, kidding. Anything.
Didn't we have the MC in Melbourne was on one of those shows? Or Jules Lund was on Getaway, wasn't he? Yeah. Well, we might be able to hook you up.
So I hope you have time because the journal's got 5 pages. Here you go.
I hope these are for Instagram.
No, just one of each actually. So with Instagram,
I'll go first.
awesome. So I've got
Fine.
a business profile
Yes.
and a personal one.
Yep.
And I really want to grow my personal brand.
Okay.
My issue is I suck at. I'm not very photogenic.
Okay.
I suck at taking photos.
Okay.
So my question is, how important is that on your personal brand? Can I get away with quotes and memes and that sort of thing, or do I need to post selfies and that sort of
I
thing?
mean, if it's your personal brand, you have to have consistent photos of yourself because you're selling yourself.
Yep.
But what I would recommend doing is setting up a professional shoot, a professional photo shoot to get you like 30, 40 headshots that you're happy with in wearing something you feel comfortable in.
I'll probably need more than 30 and 40 for that.
Well, just to get started. Oh, no,
a joke.
30 or 40 is how many you end up with. There's like 300.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. But really stop and think about what are you comfortable in? Because when I started Villa, I never wanted to show myself online. That was never the goal. But then I started speaking and I was teaching workshops, so people were working with me. So kind of got to a point I had to. So I thought, all right, I'm going to get a photographer to do some professional headshots for me. I was poor then. I still had no money. So I ended up doing a service for service. So I posted in a Perth Facebook group and just said, I need this many headshots. This is sort of what I'm thinking. This is what I could offer you because I can't afford to pay anyone because I was really new then. Would anyone be interested? And there were heaps and heaps of tags on that post. And I ended up getting my OG headshots, and then there's something else I just want to say on it as well, because I got really caught up in this idea that I had to be in like a suit, looking really professional. And then I had picked my outfit and I picked what I was going to use. Now I'm in a suit looking professional, but I found a way to make it me, right? And the night before I messaged a business friend that I'd kind of met over Instagram and just said, I really just want to wear my Rolling Stones t-shirt because I'm feeling super uncomfortable about doing this, and that's where I feel comfortable. And she goes, oh, and I said, would it be unprofessional if I just wore my Rolling Stones t-shirt and my ripped jeans? And she was like, just do it because that's you. That's how you teach workshops. That's how you roll up to teach people in like group situations or whatever you're doing. And I'm so glad I listened to that because that's now become my brand, and do what you feel comfortable in because that is your personal brand. So get professional headshots and think about like, how would you rock up to see a client? What would you be wearing? Because if you're wearing something you feel comfortable in, it's going to show through the photos. If you're trying to be something that's not you, it's going to show through the photos as well. So get those because you can get started with those, and then the selfies fill the in-betweens, right? And I'll tell you one more thing, actually. As long as you've got light in front of you, not from behind you, everything about your selfie will look better.
Oh, okay.
That's a hot tip, guys, okay? Make sure you've got light coming in front, not on top and not behind.
Great, thank you.
Did that answer your question?
It was amazing.
Did
Thank
it
you.
help you?
A lot.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
So the LinkedIn question.
Yeah.
So on LinkedIn, I have previously just gone for volume. So I've got a very targeted niche. It's personal trainers. So it's really easy for me just to follow or connect with a few people from Fitness First, and then I get shown heaps of them. I usually don't send that note because it's so easy for me just to go with volume. Is that okay, or would you suggest always do the note?
Is it work? Oh, and it's okay. Yeah, it's totally okay.
Okay.
I mean, if it's working for you,
Yep.
if you're getting the conversions, it's totally okay. Because it's time, right? I imagine that's why you're doing it. It's for speed, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. If it's working for you, then there's no, like, if things aren't broken, you don't need to fix them. The numbers don't lie. If it's working for you, it's working for you. No matter what I say, no matter what Brooke says, if it's working for you, keep doing it.
Great. Thank you.
Cool. There was a question at the back about the lead magnet. So you've mentioned put an ebook, but people don't really know what it is, an ebook.
Oh, sorry.
A few examples so people can understand.
Okay, so an ebook is just a book online. So it's something that you write that has valuable info. And actually, you're all going to get one after coming tonight. So you can use the one I've written as a guide. But basically, you have a cover, which if you're a personal brand, it's generally you. Then you have a page that's a little bit about you. And then you offer some sort of value. So something that I find works really, really well is when you can call out problems in your industry. because that elevates you as the expert in your field. I know, because Nathaniel said this thing and it was like a light bulb moment went off in my head. So if you can explain the problem to a customer, they will automatically assume that you have the solution. If you can explain their problem better than they can, and these are words by Nat Bibby, quote 2019. But if you can explain it better, they will assume that you have the solution. They will come to you for it. So I created an ebook called The 10 DM Commandments, which you may have seen if you follow me on Instagram. So everyone who comes to the tour will get a copy of that. And it basically, I just went through all of my DMs over the past 6 months, picked out all the fucking creepy shit and made a list of what not to do, because anything that I was like, ugh, yuck, ugh, and I just started making notes of it. So if you can pick out mistakes that people are making and create it into a document, that's an ebook. Does that answer the ebook question?
No, I think everyone's very curious. Can you share 2 creepy things not to do then? Because people are looking at you thinking, what did they really send you?
Oh my God, what?
Just 2. Pick 2.
What don't they bloody send? I actually considered putting the screenshots in. Then I was like, no, don't be an asshole. At my full name, I'm like, am I getting in trouble? Or am I about to get sold to? What's going on here? So at full names, absolutely not. Or when they do just make it about them and they're like, hey, blah, 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 I did this, I did that, blah, 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 follow me back. I'm like, but why should I? Okay, good for you. Well done.
Brooke, I thought you could help me with this, and this. So can we catch up for coffee?
They go, hey, Brooke, I can see that you've done this and this is my problem. Can I pick your brain over coffee? My shout, of course. And I'm like, why wouldn't it be your shout? If you're getting all my information for free, it astounds me how people say that. Can I pick your brain? Why? You're a stranger on the internet. Yeah. And that's the funniest thing. It's always the people who I'll be like, yep, sure, I'll give you this, I'll give you that, I'll give you that. And then you never hear from them again because they're lazy. They want the shortcut, right? That's why they're like, oh, I want the quick fix. Oh, there's the answer. Oh, that's too hard for me. And you'll get the rest via email in my ebook.
Okay, I see a lot of people nodding, and I've got a question at the back, which I'm coming to you right now. I want to hear you guys, if so far you've got value and you're happy to be here, and you got all the information you wanted. I want you to make some noise from 0 to 10. How good was it so far? Pretty good. Okay, one question here.
I've been on LinkedIn for many years, okay? And I'm not on Instagram, but
Yet.
would like to be, okay? So I've got a lot of content that I would like to have on an Instagram page. And I don't want it to look like I'm just all of a sudden posting a whole bunch of stuff. Is there a way to post so it looks like you've been on Instagram for a while?
Not really, but there's nothing wrong with that.
No?
So what I would do is I would start with 6 to 9 posts, okay? Make sure they're valuable content, because what's going to happen is when people land on your account, they're going to see you don't have many posts on there. But if you don't have many posts and you don't have many followers, they're going to assume you're new. Okay? So start with 6 to 9 valuable posts so there's something that they can read and decide whether they want to follow you or not.
Right.
And then do one a day. And that's how you'll start to build it up.
Okay.
Cool?
All right. Thanks.
Thanks for asking.
All right, how are we doing for question? We got time for a couple more? Sorry, oh, here we go.
Thank you. Just between like your personal account and your work account, or probably for both platforms, I get confused sometimes because I want to build my personal brand. I'm doing that. At the same time, I don't want my business to be all about me. Probably can't solve that. But in terms of posting, should I be just focusing on my personal or the work account?
Yeah, look, how big's the business? I know the answer to this, but
Yeah, you're looking at him.
it does make a big difference. So, like, when you're growing your business and it's still a relatively small business, you're gonna get so much more traction if you do it through a personal brand. That's your competitive edge because the big businesses can't compete with that. You know, and you can always shift it later. But I think when you're growing, like, you want to grow in the fastest way possible, especially when it comes to social media, and you can do that for a personal brand a lot quicker.
Yeah. So I started my business Villa Management, and I never had a personal brand. So everything was under Villa Management. And I made the decision to switch, and I changed the username on Instagram of Villa Management to Brooke Vilinovich. And there was 2 reasons. I'd recently got married, and I changed my name, and I realized if you Googled my new name, there was nothing online, right? And I also made the switch because I started speaking more. And as you can see, Villa Management, my actual business, isn't anywhere because my business now is the social club, which is actually my product. But I did notice that when I made that switch, because I thought, what's right for me? Do I leave this account, which I had just over 10,000 followers on that account, and start a new account for Brooke Vilinovich? But then I thought, no, this is my story. This is what I want people to be able to scroll back and see where I started, because I don't know where Villa's going to go. Villa's the future. Brooke Vilinovich is my story to this point, and then allowing them to follow along with it. And I tell you, after I made that switch, oh my God, my followers just shot off. Everything changed because, again, it gave people someone that they could connect to. And my content on the 2 different platforms, on the Villa account, we really, really focus on giving away free tips and advice and information, and we make it about the social club members and the results that they're getting and constantly sharing those results. And then Brooke Vilinovich is more about my story. So that's how I separate the content on the 2. On Brooke Vilinovich, I will still share Instagram tips as well, because that's a huge part of my story and what I do. But it's also a lot about me and what I'm doing. And that's how you differentiate it. If you can make your business account about the customer and your personal brand account about you and your story, because that's the difference between the 2.
Great.
Does that answer your question?
It does, but I've got another question for you.
Okay.
Not being too greedy. You mentioned the word consistency.
Yes.
In posting. What does consistency look like?
Okay.
Give me an example for both platforms.
So consistency is really just being on the platform every day, okay? There are some pretty solid facts and statistics and evidence that if you post daily, you will grow faster. I understand for a lot of people that's not an option. So I say just be on the platform every day. So if you can't post to your feed every day, post a story. If you can't post a story, then spend time engaging. So going through and commenting on other people's posts and liking people's posts and following people and responding to DMs. Just be active consistently, because then it ensures that you're constantly working with the algorithm. You're not there then taking a break. Oh, we need to talk about Christmas.
We do need to talk about Christmas. Engaging with other people's content on LinkedIn is a huge deal, though. Especially if you're connecting with people and they're the people in your network that are seeing your content, engaging with their content as well is huge. And so doing that daily, I think, is important. Even if you post once a week, if you're engaging with other people's content, you're active on the platform, you're involved in the conversation, I think, is the key to being consistent.
Awareness as well, because when you engage on someone else's post, sorry, I took over. No, it's my turn. When you engage on someone else's post, it's not just the account owner that sees it, it's the other people that are following them, right? So it can increase your brand exposure to complete different markets outside of just the people that follow you, that when you post, get seen. Does that make sense?
It does.
So Christmas.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Before the Christmas, can you just answer you talked about products.
Yes.
Can you let us know very briefly what kind of product you can sell easily on Instagram and more so on LinkedIn, and price point?
Yeah, very nice aftershave.
Oh, nice. What kind of products? Anything visual goes real well on Instagram. anything visual. In terms of price point, well, that's a hard question to answer because it depends on it's who you're selling it to. If you're selling it to the right person and you're providing enough value, then the price should be an afterthought, right? If you're proving to them that they need it and it's going to solve their problems, price shouldn't be what they're considering.
So a couple of clients will approach me around this time of year and they'll say, hey, Nathaniel, everything shuts down over Christmas. I'd like to pause our campaign. Big mistake.
Huge.
So this is the thing, right? Are people using social media more over the holidays or less? It doesn't matter whether you're on LinkedIn or... Do you know on LinkedIn 4 years ago, the highest engagement we got in a day throughout the whole year was on Christmas Day?
Everyone's sitting down with their food coma. And also, Christmas is the only time of year. So we've spent all night talking to you, and this is why we're doing this at the end. We spent all night basically telling you have to speak to one person, right? So you create content for one person. Now, Christmas is the only time of the year that's actually the exception to that. Because think about when you're scrolling around Christmas time, you have in the back of your mind, I need a present for my mum, I need a present for my dad, I need a present for my sister, I need a Secret Santa present, I need a present for my boss. So Christmas is the only time of year when every time you speak to one person, you're actually speaking to their personal network and they're spending money. And, sorry.
Yep.
Did this go off? Oh, no. And they're not...
Cut you off.
Hey?
They've cut you off, finally.
That's what it felt like they cut off my throat just then. And they're not only spending money, but they're in like a money mindset, and they'll buy things that they wouldn't normally buy, and they'll give things a try that they wouldn't normally try because people are buying for Christmas.
And that's Instagram. So on LinkedIn, like it's the time of the year when you're most likely to be able to get a response from the CEO of Westpac. Because he's got less shit to do, right? He's got more time on his hands. And guess what he's thinking about? 2020. He's planning for the year ahead. So if you write the message in the right way, there's a chance that he'll see it and there's a chance that he'll respond to it. I think it's a fantastic time for lead generation. Like you may not make a sale in December, but you'll set the opportunities up for the new year. And all of those competitors of yours that have paused their campaign are going to be starting the year on the back foot because they don't have consistency. They broke trust with their existing audience, and they've missed the time of year when people are most receptive to messages. So this is the time of year to ramp things up, not to slow things down.
And also, if you wait until January to try and get back into the newsfeed, you're competing against everybody else that took a break over Christmas. That come January decides to start posting again. So this is the time of year to get ahead because your competitors are taking a break.
That's a great place to finish. We want to thank a few people before we wrap up. First of all, our MC Joris, who's been fantastic.
Woo! So far.
We've got a couple of sponsors. I know Jesse's in the room representing Social Media College. Like without these guys, we wouldn't be able to do this, to be honest. We've got The Creative, which is here as well, filming the event. I'd like to thank all the videographers and the photographers that have been involved in the entire tour have really made this possible for us. I'd like to thank this lady standing next to me, or sitting next to me, I should say. I am a member of the social club, and I've got a huge amount of value, even though I've only watched one webinar so far.
We'll get you there. We'll get you there.
And finally, we'd like to thank all of you guys. It's a real privilege to be able to sit here and do what we love, and it wouldn't be possible without you guys. And we'd love to get a photograph with all of you before we wrap up. We might have to do it. I think the stage is too small. I think we might have to do it over here, if that's okay. And we'll get the photographer to take a picture of all of us, if that's okay. We'd really appreciate that. Thank you.